So when they called me or emailed me or both to ask me to PopTech, they said, we're interested in having you over, and this is what it's about, and it's a 20-minute presentation, and you get to fly to Maine. And I thought, oh, 20-minute presentation. I've given presentations all over the world. I've been in over 20 countries working with people of all backgrounds. I give presentations from 1 day, 3 days, 5 days, 8 days. I'll present for weeks on end if you want. So 20 minutes shouldn't be a problem. So that's fine. And as things developed, I got to get a gander of the lineup of presenters for this illustrious conference. Have you seen the lineup of presenters for this conference? Of course you have. But most of you aren't up here. Okay? So it's not bad enough that we have Nobel Prize winners presenting at this conference. We've got the chairman of the Nobel Prize presenting about something that is so heady and so lofty that I can't even wrap my feeble brain around it. And then, we've got scientists who've invented the wheel and discovered the final answer to life, the universe, and everything. And then to top it all off, we've got a 13-year-old who's going to be presenting in this block about his having completely revolutionized the workings of the photovoltaic cell. He's about to change life for all of us forever and anon, okay? Some Mensa genius over here. And then there's me. So they keep asking me what I'm going to present about, and I keep telling them, don't worry about it, because I'm the real-life Batman. There shouldn't be a problem. They also call me the real-life Daredevil. I disavow that title. I don't really care to live up to that one. So real-life Batman seems to fit better. So what is my claim to fame? I click. And there you have it. Thank you very much. Oh, wait, I'm looking at the time here, and it looks like I have like 17 minutes to go. So I need to do something. Okay, so let's think about blindness for a moment. Why not? And let's think about freedom for a moment. Why not? And let's think about how those two potentially interrelate. So I'm going to ask you all to have a moment of faith and close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes. Everyone close your eyes, okay? Here's the point where I hurl things at random to people in the audience. Keep your eyes closed. And just imagine yourself for a moment, keeping your eyes closed. And then you go to open your eyes. Don't open them. But you go to open your eyes, and nothing happens. You open your eyes, and nothing happens. Okay, so you're not seeing anything now. Keep your eyes closed. What are you going to do? What's the first order of business? You got to get out of here. I mean, unless you don't want to leave ever. Something has to happen to cause movement to happen. Movement has to happen. Interaction with the environment somehow has to happen. Keep your eyes closed, please. So Most of you have livelihoods of some form or another. Goodness, you paid how much to be here? You've all got to have some kind of livelihood to be here, right? Does that just go away because you can't open your eyes? Do you find a way to reclaim your life? Do you find a way to have another life? Do you find a way to reestablish your life? Do you find a way to make your own choices? So you can't open your eyes, you can't see anything. What's the first thing that comes to mind? We've got hundreds of people in the audience here, but I know what's coming to mind. Restriction, limitation, lack of freedom, fear. Go ahead and open your eyes. We work with dozens, if not hundreds of students actually, hundreds if not thousands of students all over the world who cannot open their eyes, whose vision in many cases was taken as quickly as yours was by closing your eyes, or nearly so. And yet, the students we work with don't hearken to the ideas of fear and limitation and restriction. We have found a way to help them open their eyes. We have found a way to help them reclaim their freedom, reestablish their capacity to direct their own achievements in a manner of their own choosing. So we'll start with a video that showcases our work in a nutshell, and you get to see a glimpse of our vision of blindness.
It's like if you guys can see with your eyes, and we can see with our ears.
Riding a mountain bike, playing soccer, or skateboarding may seem like a breeze to most people unless you see what they see.
Echolocation is a way of perceiving the environment multidimensionally from a distance by using sound instead of light, almost the same as what bats use. Bats will emit a sound, and that sound goes out, bounces off everywhere in the environment, and the bat can extract an image from that chirp. And it turns out that humans can do the same thing. They can emit a tongue click, and that click goes out, it bounces off of everything in the environment, comes back to the listener, and the listener can learn to extract an image of their surroundings.
When I first became blind, I didn't move at all, I just sat on the couch. And what echolocation allowed me to do is to bring that much more awareness to my surroundings. So I can now more freely jump on a skateboard and skate around the street. Mountain biking with echolocation is just awesome.
It allows you to access the environment beyond the reach of your cane or your hand.
I'm able to identify where the things are and what are the clues to go anywhere in this world.
Now, his mother, Viviana, saw one of our segments on Ripley's Believe It or Not, and soon hired us, World Access for the Blind, to work with Sebastian. ... When he started, he rarely came out of his room. He had little interaction with the outside world. He never left his apartment for any reason unescorted. Okay, he was about 12 when we began working with him. He now rides a skateboard. I don't know where he learned that. I don't ride a skateboard. He figured it out, okay? He ice skates, He's popular at school, he's stalked with friends, and a busy social life. Certainly busier than mine was. I was a diehard introvert when I was his age. If you ask Sebastian's mother about the impact of our work, that our work has had on her son, she would say it was an awakening. He believes he can do anything, she says. To see Sebastian as a normal child. And I wasn't actually there when the interview was conducted. But apparently she couldn't complete the sentence before the tears began to fall. So I say that we've not had a good day until we've made a client cry. So what is this all about? What is this click thing all about? And why is it such a big deal? And why has it been heard around the world? I think the title of my book is going to be The Click of Thunder, or something like that. We'll talk about that. We'll show you how this works. What does this really do? When I was a child, I was very, very fortunate, much more fortunate than Sebastian in many ways. I came from a background where it was just believed that I would grow up, pay taxes, move out like everyone else, and take care of my parents in their old age. Okay? And I was also fortunate, for the most part, to grow up in a community that supported that idea. So when I was 6 years old, back in the day, I remember going out on the playground in the first grade. No one had oriented me to the playground. Actually, they had. They'd showed me how to get from my homeroom classroom to the Braille classroom, which was 9 doors down or so. And the idea was to just kind of trail the wall down from one door to the next. You count the doors until you get to your classroom. That's the only thing that was shown to me at the time. And so I get out to recess. All the kids are running around. And I don't know anything. I mean, I don't know what the playground is like. I don't know what's on the playground. All I know is everyone's running around. And to me, because of the way I was raised, not because of some, prodigy genius thing. I mean, I may have certain talents. We all have certain talents. We also have liabilities. But it had to do with how I was raised. So I regarded this situation as a puzzle, really. Nothing more nor less. I mean, not that I didn't have certain apprehensions, but I probably had much the same apprehensions that the other first graders who'd not been to this school. And many of them were probably more apprehensive than I. Certainly some of them were less so. So I just clicked. I've been clicking since I was a year old. I lost my eyes to retinoblastoma, which are retinal tumors. So I lost the first eye at 7 months, the second at 13 months. Aren't these eyes gorgeous? They're the result of a great artist named John Kennedy from Orange County. They are artificial, I can assure you. Okay. So I saw by clicking. And so I walked out onto the playground. I navigated bodies running around. I tried to stay away from the, flying projectile ball things that were flying and bouncing everywhere. And I eventually made it to the grass. And the noise was deafening and very difficult for me. So I kind of, weaved my way through it, clicking all the way. And I'm clicking over my shoulder thinking, okay, how am I going to get back to the building? How do I get back there exactly? And as long as I could hear the building, I felt I was okay, right? Well, I can click, teach our students to click, and I can hear a building from hundreds of feet away, all right? So I have to be pretty far. With a good hand clap, I won't do it here because I'll blow the microphones, but with a good hand clap, I can hear a building from many, many hundreds of yards away. So that wasn't going to be such a big issue. And I get to the grass, and I'm now starting to run because it's open and it's not anyone in the way or anything. And I stop very, very short, very, very quickly very, very quickly coming up to a thing in front of me. So I slide to a stop, and I click at it, and I say hello, and it doesn't answer back because it isn't a person. It's a pole, okay? It was about as tall as I was, maybe a little taller, and I go up to this thing, and I think, Why? What could this thing possibly be there for? So, you know, I kind of click around me, and there's another one. Well, what's that? So I go over to it, and it was the same thing. I could tell before I even got there. See, the clicking is like a language. You're asking the environment, where are you, and what are you? And the click sends sound waves, physical manifestations that go out into the environment and return to the listener with imprints of what they encounter. Okay? It's almost like taking a mold of something, in a way. So I was getting these imprints of these poles, and I, you know, kind of ran along them. There were about 9 of them. Found out later what they were for. They were a slalom course. They were designed, the kids, you're supposed to like grab one with your hand and run around and grab the other one and run around the other way and grab this one and run around. And to show you the kind of environment that I was raised in, one of my teachers at that time, in that day and age, before, you know, the liability stuff hit, frankly, tried to talk me into doing this. Come on, just kind of run through these things here. I told her to go blow. I mean, not in those words exactly. But here we are in the 21st century now, many, many years later. The little kid that you saw, if you guys can see with your eyes, we can see with our ears, 13-year-old Juan Ruiz, is now 29. He works for us as one of our coaches. He was recently invited to Guinness World Records in Italy. I don't have that clip here. You can go on the web. You can find it on our website, worldaccessfortheblind.org. I don't want to steal his thunder here. But he rode a bicycle through an obstacle course on stage in front of a live audience by doing nothing but clicking. Okay? He did it in 49 seconds, I think, or less. So he now holds the record for blind bicycling. Well, I don't know how long it's going to take for someone to break that record, but he holds it. All right, so how does this work? How does this really work? What really happens is it's in the brain. Seeing is in the brain, right? So it's a matter of training, activating the visual cortex to process non-visual information. The images we're getting from click and from touch, okay? So am I going to walk over the edge of the stage here? Not likely, okay? That's just an extremely simple example. It would never happen. Well, let's not do that. Let's not jinx it and say never. Okay? All right? That's very, very simple. More complex is riding a bicycle through an obstacle course. But what you're doing is you're imaging the environment by feeding the visual cortex non-visual information. What does the visual cortex do with it? It sees. The visual cortex sees. It wants to see. It's designed to see. It doesn't much care what the inputs are. Okay, well, don't just take my word for it because, I mean, who am I? I'm just the Batman. The next video will show some professors who are actually studying this.
A number of research projects have shown that people who are blind are in some ways redeploying the visual brain in such a way that they are truly seeing and appreciating the world around them, and that visual brain does light up, even though it's never received a visual input. So in many ways, this fantastic additional computing power of the brain, which is used for vision, is being redeployed as a way of seeing the world in the mind's eye.
They discovered his brain had rewired itself to process the sounds into vision, using the part of the brain that sighted people used to see.
What this tells us is a number of things. We can use parts of the brain that are normally devoted to vision to process auditory information when visual information is removed.
For me personally, this has been a really great experience because I've been working on the echolocation of bats, and we've only recently started working on echolocation with humans. Now having Daniel here around is like almost being able to talk to a bat. And Daniel is not only exceptionally good at echolocation, he's also exceptionally good at verbalizing how he does it.
So you thought I was kidding. All right, so I'll give you just a quick demonstration of this. But basically, when they stuffed me into this MRI scanner thing, which they also did to a couple of my colleagues, what they discovered was when they played echo stimuli at us, the visual portions of our brains responded in a manner very similar to the way those same portions would respond in sighted people seeing visual images or seeing visual, stimuli. So if you close your eyes one more time, please. Trust me. Here's where we take your wallets. We're a nonprofit organization. It's hard times. Okay, eyes closed. So I'm just going to give you a simple demonstration, and then I'm going to get off the stage before they kick me off. I'm going to make a sound, okay? I'm not going to change the sound, but the sound is going to change, okay? Just listen. You hear that? Keep your eyes closed, please. Just listen one more time, and you tell me now. Just say now when you hear the tray start to move, okay? Now, don't jump the gun. I've had people yell, now, before I even begin moving the tray. Just listen. We'll relax into this, and just say now when you hear it start to move. Okay, that was close. I'm almost banging my forehead here with the tray. But you did it. You did it. Okay, keep your eyes closed. Close the eyes. Keep your eyes closed. We'll do it one more time. Oh my goodness, that is so much better. Open your eyes. Open your eyes. From here to about here. Hundreds of you listening through a microphone, less than optimal conditions, no training whatsoever. You were able to perceive a change in the environment of just a few inches, okay? Now, if you put that in perspective, it's not such a big deal to imagine how someone who's been blind as long as I have can learn to do the things that we've learned to do. It's not beyond us. It's not beyond our brains. This leads us to freedom. It was freedom that Sebastian was able to claim. It's not just a matter of seeing. It's a matter of learning to be free. And that's really what this is all about. Thank you so much for your attention.